Let's talk about case studies. You may be here because you're dealing with a bulging belly and or energy. And you may be finding that both of these go hand in hand. And you may also be here because you're trying to decipher through all that information out there and what's going to benefit you and how you're going to be able to get the results that you yearn for. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 case studies so that you can see what was stopping and holding them before they could get to the next level. Then I'm going to share with you the celebrations. The celebrations are so important. I love to do that because that's what helps you connect with your purpose and your direction with what you're going to be going with your program to get to the next level. But I'm going to take it a little bit deeper today also. I'm going to show you how they were able to get their results, but also at that point, what stumped them and got them to digress a bit, to jump right back in and even get to know themselves even deeper. What's great about these case studies is it really shows real life. Nothing's as easy as it appears until you really step into it. And that's how sometimes you lose your momentum. And then what you really want to connect with is your yearning to be able to fit in that sexy red dress, fit in the sexy jeans that you love, and then being able to have that energy and feeling like more young than where you're feeling right now. And that will get you connected and moving you even further into your journey. I had a friend the other day tell me about that about 9% of us really keep the weight off that we lose. So what I want you to think about as you're listening to these case studies is that there's never just one fix. There's always that point where you really want to feel like, okay, I'm at my celebration. Instead of going back all the way to where you are, accept that you may take some little small steps back. It does not mean that that's a bad thing. Sometimes we need to rest and we need to find that vibrancy. Sometimes it's picking up a book. Sometimes it's journaling, talking to friends, watching videos like this that's going to get your momentum going again. And then there's your second celebration. And then you're going to be meeting Samantha. She's my last case study that I'm going to be sharing with you. And you're going to see this person that is striving daily to have this wonderful balanced life. And so I'm going to share you her celebrations. She's going to have more information because she's been doing this for years and she is consistently moving forward. But you know what? There's always those steps back. So I'm going to share with you some things that have stopped her where she's just felt like everything else has gone, off to the wayside. And it's because of trying to balance life. So it's going to be able to really help you connect with real world, what's going on for you and how you can consistently go. Instead of thinking this as a diet and a quick fix, we're going to be not just that 9%. We're going to move past that and make this percentage 50%, 75%, because it's never 100% direction in the way you're going. You're going to learn that you're going to be able to go one direction and think that that's the right one, but reevaluate it. And then you may start in another direction, but keep yourself and your momentum going forward. And that's what it's all about. So truly what this video is about is starting the healing process. Now, wherever you are with your energy or feeling like you have a bulging belly, you can always heal that and get your symptoms feeling better. So in video 1, I know you learned quite a bit about me, and I want you to go back there if you haven't heard it yet. But the one thing I didn't share is the bulging belly, where my pants were starting to get tight and my energy being low. I was in 5th grade, actually, when it first started happening. And I felt so alone because I thought I was the only one dealing with this. I think at that age, you really don't know how to express, that I'm feeling this or that. And so I started separating myself from everybody. I really started feeling like an individual. And I can remember when I was in junior high and high school, I used to have all these friends where I'd just say, oh, hey, hi, how's it going? And it would be like everybody at a distance. But as time went on, people started calling me a loner. Even though people liked me because I was very outgoing, they really laughed at me because they were like, Rhonda's always alone. She's always doing stuff alone. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I really realized that even though I had these friends at a distance, I really never brought them in. So we're going to really bring that together in your community and how important that is for longevity. So you're not in for a week or 2 weeks of change, but you're really looking at like the mindset of moving forward and how you're going to change this so that you will lose the weight, so that you have the energy, not the bulge that you want, and you're going to shift back and forth here and there, but nothing extreme. It's going to be that you're going to do some big results, step back a little bit, invest in yourself, do a program that's, like 2 weeks or a few days to kind of help get your mindset and then move yourself forward again. It's a very fun journey. Hi, I'm Rhonda Liebig. I'm a holistic health coach and author. I've been doing this for over 15 years, and I work with women that really want to make a massive change with only small little tweaks here and there. Sometimes big leaps, sometimes littles, but being able to recognize that and celebrate that so they can step into action, make changes that they thought that they could never make just by one little step, massive changes. That's what it's all about. So there's never been a better time for you to step in and start the healing process just by making those changes. With so many people combating chronic disease, if you heard from the first video, I was talking about that 10% plus of our people are dealing with diabetes. Once you have diabetes, you have double the chance of having a heart attack. With all the circulatory stuff happening, you have stuff start happening in the mouth. And I even talked about the mouth and how sore that can happen. So this is you taking that energy, taking the stance, and being part of those people that are ready to make a change and really connect with how much control and how much power you have behind your health and the way that you're thinking and the changes that you can make. So one little step at a time, one tweak at a time to make big, big changes. Yes, and I already am aware of the sabotages that are going in the head right now that, no, I can't do this, or that I've had the weight on me and so there's no way to get rid of it. I even know at one time I was thinking, well, this is as much weight as I can lose because this is what my body, this is how I stop. But I never tapped into being able to keep those shifts moving so you can continuously make those changes. And I can already hear that, no, I'm not going to give up my caffeine. I'm not going to give up that chocolate. I'm not going to give up that chocolate chip cookie that I love for the day. And so this is what you're really going to learn is that since it's not 100%, it doesn't mean that you give that stuff up. You learn to really crowd things out. You learn to connect with your next step forward. And it's not always that you take away your wine or you take away your sugar. It sometimes is that you are going to be adding things. So in the first video, I gave you the 5 foods that you could add in right now. So I really want you to connect with that because that's going to bring you into the case studies because you're going to find out that they're not perfect. And hopefully nobody is. That they're really going to display that they were able to make little changes and lose 6% body fat. That they lost seven sizes in pant size. That they were able to, declog their emotions based on certain steps that they did. So step in and enjoy the case studies. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to video 2, case studies. I'm really excited to share with you 3 ladies who have gone through different strategies to be able to get themselves to the next level. And what's wonderful is I'm going to show you a journey with Michaela, having a year to really focus in on her plan and how she's been able to start herself, get into some celebrations and restart herself up again to keep that inspiration. Also Colleen, who has been with me for 1 month and the changes that she was able to make just within that month. So if you're just starting off, she's a perfect one to be able to learn from. Samantha, she's been with me for 3+ years. And what's wonderful is that you'll be able to connect with her if you felt in your life that you've tried to live a really balanced lifestyle and how you keep your mojo, your motivation going. So you're going to learn a lot from Samantha's journey. And so I'm really excited to share with you. Welcome. This is Michaela, and Michaela has struggled with eating fast food and drinking soda every day. She just was really tired, and the soda was helping her with the sugar and giving her a jump start, and so she was just indulging, and then she was also not feeling really good about herself, and she got to the point where she could physically not do a lot. I'd say here she probably has maybe 70 extra pounds on her from the time that I originally met her years ago. And so as she stepped into the program, she really learned to have some shift changes, which I'm going to show you in a minute. But you know what? She felt that she didn't have a lot of support. And so she felt pretty lost and didn't really think much about what she was doing to herself physically. And so she really didn't have a community to help support her journey. As time went on, around a year or so, she lost, she really connected, and within her first 5 months, she lost 19 pounds, 11.25 of total inches over her body. But you know what? She lost 6% body fat, and that's always a hard thing to lose. Body fat is very hard. There's a fine line and a fine balance to do that. What she connected with is that she was learning about her portion control and really started slow eating and really listening to how she was feeling, so she wasn't throwing all the food into her mouth like she originally was. But she was also clearing her mental sabotages. There were things that she wasn't feeling good about. And one thing that we really connected with is that she was, even though she was clearing her mental sabotages just recently, I'm going to share with you how she was able to jump in to reset herself, because she did plateau at some point. But she started working out and she started making food choices and a commitment to herself. So that's how she got these results. So as time went on, she kept herself just at this point. And we were working and trying to figure out, what's the next step for her. And we started tapping into that she really needed to start journaling. Now, journaling is a great way to listen to yourself, but what was really important for Michaela is that we really started talking about that she had a lot of emotions in her, and she was she gets set off very easily. And it was only by certain people. The other people couldn't sway her. She's a very sweet, easygoing person. But if you're very close with her, she was having those issues of just going off very easily and not having much patience. So she was journaling and starting to work with that, and she started getting more refreshed feeling in her life, where she felt like all of a sudden she was ready to reinvest in herself. So as we're talking right now, these stats that are happening right now, she lost 7 pant sizes, and I'm expecting her to go down even another one. So she's really made big changes. Her big connection was journaling and really stepping into not just the outside and the food, but also emotionally in her journey and what she needed to do. So her clearing the sabotages were not just stopping herself and slowing herself down and eating and telling herself that, she couldn't lose the weight. It came down to stepping in even deeper, getting to know herself even more, and even connecting deeper with that. Colleen, she's the person that I'm going to introduce you to now that we've been together for a month. So before we started working together, she just started her business not feeling very good, because it's very stressful to get yourself in there where you're working with a group and then all of a sudden you got your own motivation. You have to feel really good, high energy to get those new clients. So she was tired, unfocused, bloated, and dealing with general weakness, physical balance issues, and general aches and pains. So when you see the next picture, you're going to see, just looking at her, these things that she was dealing with, you can really actually kind of see it on her face. Within 2 weeks, though, what was wonderful is that she made changes for her eating, and she also learned that even though she was drinking milk every day and putting it in her coffee, that she was actually being affected by the milk. So physically, she started listening to herself, and she started making changes, less bloating, and she was focusing on eating healthy and drinking what she was doing? She was actually drinking water, and she told me she was eating healthy, but she realized that she needed more water. And then all of this together with changing the milk, and then also with really connecting with that her energy was low, she realized after she added more water that she really needed to do these things to increase her energy. Now what happened was, after the 2 weeks, there were things that were starting to happen where she was kind of losing her momentum. So you know how that is. After the 2 week, you kind of get a little slump where you're like, okay, well, I'm tired of, this new stuff, and you sometimes kind of try and slump back. So what we started connecting with is, again, Colleen started journaling, and she started listening to how important nature was to her. Now, she already knew that, but she never connected with how emotionally important it was to rejuvenate herself. And as she started doing that, she started going in and looking at how she was eating again and resetting some things, and she started getting new recipes, and she started making all these new wonderful things. And Colleen lived alone at this point, so it was hard for her. I hear a lot of people that are single saying that I'd rather go out and eat instead of make a meal for me. But she reconnected with that and how important it was, and it really made her very successful. So she's a lawyer, and she has to have that energy to keep her mojo going. So she lost weight. She was went from 187 to 181. She got to 178 at some point. But the biggest thing when you want to put on that sexy dress or that blue power suit that they call it, she needed to have the confidence to get up in the morning, to get herself going. So within a month, she was fitting in her clothes and she didn't take a nap every day. She found that at a certain point in the day, she just wanted to take a nap because she was so overly stressed. And she realized that her confidence started boosting up, so everything connected for her, and that was all the connection with her business too. Wonderful stuff from Colleen. So the journaling really pushed her forward, and then she went out for walks, which really rejuvenated her, and she connected with nature. Wonderful stuff with Colleen. Here's Samantha. Now, Samantha, like I said, she's been with me for 3 years, so I'm going to introduce her a little bit differently to you, because when she came in, she was dealing with not having much energy, and she was feeling like her food choices were not really that good. She wanted to lose weight, and she felt like just that she was not emotionally balanced. You know, as raising kids and running a business too, along with her husband, there's things that just get out of balance. So as we went along, she learned different tips and tricks to get her balance going with her organization. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, because this is an interesting one. Feeling more organized. But she ended up getting increased energy, making better food choices because she was inspired. She started her weight loss, and she's even done more to this day. She's even more slender than she has ever been consistently. And then emotionally more balanced. And how she was able to do that is the second one right here. Now I'm going to tell you a couple things that she's done because she has a great story. But you know what she did? She spent 3 months taking time out to clear out that junk drawer, to go in a closet and reorganize it, to go into her bedroom and organize, into the living room. So then instead of having 20 stacks on the counter, all of a sudden she had places for things, and it opened her up. So interesting, huh? So the other two, we were talking about journaling and how move them forward. Well, Samantha did some journaling, and that's how she got into this area here. But there's a point when you get to a point where you feel like you don't have any motivation, that you've been doing the same stuff over and over. And so her quarter for the year was, I think it was from January to March. I can't remember exactly what quarter that she did it in, but she just said, I know it's going to help me with clarity. So some of our energy and some of the way that we focus in on eating the sugar to keep us going and the caffeine is because we feel overloaded. We go into our house and we feel like it's clogged. It's going to clog us. And she really connected with that. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. What happened was she needed to reset her goals because along the way she got a little lost. So she started adding back in, she was doing her workouts and she kept that going. But everything else was not as balanced as it was before. So she is a person that wants a lifestyle of health. So she saw that she shifted, and she went back to her diet soda because she was feeling tired. And so that just means there was just some shifts that weren't happening. So what she had to do is she had to refocus her goals. And she realized that she was blowing them off. She'd say, okay, I'm going to commit to this. And we even went through the strategy of her even putting it in her calendar and her touching and feeling it, that this is when I'm going to start and this is how I'm going to slowly, incrementally add it in. So she decided that she really needed to step into her goals again. And that also that she needed to get herself in alignment because she truly believes that she wants to be living a healthy life. But sometimes we get so overwhelmed that in life, because we have kid activities, taking care of the business, that we have stuff that just shifts us. But she also started feeling more calmness about life. Instead of feeling anxious and that I have to go and do everything, she still had everything to do, but she found that calmness and she brought back the excitement. So what she did is she started journaling to reset her goals. So she went back in there. Journaling can be very powerful when you have a focus and there's a reason why you do it. From there, she did a jump start with me for 14 days of healthy eating focus and working out and also dealing with mental sabotages, 14 days. And it gave her a big jump start. So sometimes you need to have some jump start to really get you going and something new and unique going on. And that's what she found. We built a program to help her go through that. And then she also realized, which I really wanted to share with you, is that, remember we talked about that nothing is 100%. Because if you feel like you're 100%, then you're challenging yourself in a way that it can never be attainable for long term. So she wrote, I may not be perfect every day, but I can be most days. So she knows that she can have one-offs here and there, have a soda if she decides that that's what she wants to do, have a piece of cake. But if she keeps her balance, she's going to stay in her healthy journey. And that's what she really connected with. But what was also wonderful is that I know I can substitute healthy food choices for ones that are not so healthy. So right now where she is, this is how she feels. And after 3 years, this is the most slender she's always been, that she's ever been. And she is looking great and feeling fantastic. And just like everybody else, we go through our shifts. And it just happens where we lose our motivation. So I want you to think of this as not a diet, not just a quick fix, but that you have your ups and downs, and the more you accept it, the quicker you will go back into your healthy journey. It's a choice and a decision. So for you today, take these tips and tricks that Michaela and Colleen and Samantha did and utilize them. Step into it. Get your mojo going. Move your motivation forward. And this is going to be a great way to get you into your jump start. And that's what it is. It's not a simple, easy way to do one thing or another. You'll find some things that are going to be easy to step into. You're going to find other things that you may make too big of a goal and you have to take a step back. And that's what all of these 3 ladies learned, is ways to be declogged and moving themselves forward. So I hope you got some wonderful information through these 3 ladies and these case studies, the ladies that keep growing and growing and keep moving forward. So you have a fit day. I'll catch up with you in video 3. We're going to be talking about diagnostic tools, and I'll be able to share with you how they've been able to go through their journey using diagnostic tools. Catch up with you soon.